The Celtics took a rough loss last night, 123-127 to the very good Oklahoma City Thunder, but unfortunately, some repetitive issues did happen for the C's. I am your host of Celtics Today, Allie Barefoot. We're going to dive into some of the stats that happened during last night's game, but we're also going to talk about on today's show, the Celtics have a very rough January ahead of them that can either hurt or help the Celtics record in the long run. But first, we're going to talk about the first loss of the 2024 year, and we're going to go through some stats here, talking first about Jaylen Brown. The highest paid player in the NBA did not show up like the highest paid player in the NBA last night. Look at his field goal percentage. 22% from the field. 4 of 18, 0 for 8 on three-point shots. JB, you got to be better. Point blank, 15 points isn't going to cut it when you need to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially when you've got KP and JT having a double-double. Now to have 3 players having a double-double, I understand that's a little bit crazy here, but Jaylen Brown was not taking good shots tonight, which has seemed to be a trend the past couple of games. Against the Pistons, he learned to find his rhythm a little bit later in the game, which he did again in the second half, but overall, when I see JB, he hasn't been driving to the basket as much as he does in the first half of the game. He starts off strong. We've seen this in previous games before where JB will go straight in an open lane to the basket and he makes back-to-back-to-back baskets. But then he settles for mid-range jumper elbows that don't fall, from three-point shots when he's got 2 men on him. And it's those decisions right there with 15, 18 seconds left in the shot clock that hurt the Celtics last night to not help them get a dub. But overall, it was a tough game, and I'm not dismissing the Thunder at all. They're a great team, but the Celtics did lose to the Thunder. I wanted you guys to go ahead and share your reaction to that game if you saw it, if you saw the highlights, if you even just saw the box score. Go on ahead and put your one-word reaction down below to the Celtics loss. However, they are still atop the Eastern Conference with the best record in the NBA. But is that going to be enough? Because, look, they've got a long way to go, and I want you guys to be a part of every single moment. Go ahead and hit that sub button for me. We got you guys for rumors, for news, for breaking news, for post-game reactions, for pre-game reactions. We've got it all here at Celtics Today by Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button for me. We talked about JB coming up a little bit short tonight, and so 15 points isn't terrible. But when you look at KP, when you look at JT, 34 points, 10 rebounds, double-doubles from both of your stars, they really help. What's even great is that JT and KP get consistently better each quarter on offense and on defense. You guys know JT has been leading the Celtics in rebounds throughout the night, where I would like to see more rebounds for KP because he is 7'3". Because when you're going up against players like Chet and Giddey, you need to be able to clean that glass just as good as they can and stop leaving them out open for threes. However, they did ultimately help save the Celtics tonight. But the one man that I want to give credit to night in, night out is bald-headed Derrick White. 19 points. He had 5 at half. Once again, he had 2 against the Pistons, ended in double digits over 20. He consistently shows up and gets hot for the Celtics when they need him the most. 58% from field goal percentage from the field goal, 55% from the three-point line. He gets cookies when you need to. He had great transition moments tonight, including a dagger from the corner, a 3-point shot to put the Celtics within 2 in crucial seconds in the fourth quarter. Look, I need to ask you guys this because, in my opinion, my MVP through 33 games has been Derrick White for the Celtics, which can be outlandish. I understand that. KP's been great. JT's been great. We're thankful we're Celtics fans and we have so many good players to choose from, but I want to hear from you guys. Who has been the Celtics MVP through 33 games so far this season? Go on ahead and tell me your review down below. And up next, we are going to talk about Boston's really tough January. They're going to play some NBA championship contenders this season, but a lot of them will come in the month of January. So I'm going to tell you that in just one second. But first, I do want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America right now. And I play this every game day, including last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm going to show you my picks when they all hit. And I won some money. If you guys want to win some money just like me, all you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, and you're going to win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Let's go on ahead and take a quick recap on my picks last night. I did have a Taco Tuesday deal. Of course, the game was yesterday, so John Morant did have more than 22.5 points. That one earned me some money. Derrick White, thanks to his beautiful second half comeback, he had more than 16.5 points. And Kristaps Porzingis, who dropped over 30 points last night, he did have more than 14 field goals attempted. I made some money on this Prize Picks, and you guys can too. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Make sure you use that promo code CLNS, because not only are you going to get a first-time deposit match up to $100, but it also helps Prize Picks know that you are a loyal Chat Sports fan, and we want to get back to you guys. So go ahead and use promo code CLNS to help you win some real money in real time. Now, let's get into the Celtics January review. Not only is it a very busy month, after the holidays, you guys get to settle down. Well, unfortunately for the Celtics, they don't get to settle down. They're playing numerous contenders, not only on the East Coast, but on the West Coast. And there are a lot of games on the road, back-to-back, against possible playoff contenders. So, did you know that the Celtics actually have the NBA's 5th easiest remaining schedule according to an opponent win percentage? About 481. And that's tough because, look, you got a lot of good teams in the Western Conference. That's been known. And thankfully, the C's have been able to stand atop of the Eastern Conference standings right now, with Minnesota creeping up on them. With the Bucks creeping up on them and such. And it gets tough because 76ers blew out the Bulls last night. There's constant contenders in the East as well. But if you take a look at January, they have the 3rd toughest schedule just this month. There's a lot of competition they're going to see. And unfortunately, like last night, they may lose some games to be able to learn some things, but overall, they have 4 sets of back-to-back games, including next week, playing the Timberwolves and playing the Bucks back-to-back. Okay. In the month of January, they have 13 of 16 versus current top 10 teams, and these aren't just playoff contenders, these are play-in contenders. Okay, so Smith Dog is breaking it down for me. It's currently teams that are currently in the play-ins for the playoffs. But let's take a look at Boston's January nonetheless. Look, they played the Thunder last night and they lost. Thunder are 23-9. They're currently second in the Western Conference. They're a very tough team to beat behind the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference leading into playoffs. But then on Friday, they've got the Utah Jazz. Thankfully, they're not the best team in the league right now, but they do have Lauri Markkanen. They do have a lot of good players right now, so they'll still be tough to beat. The Pacers, on January 6th, and January 8th, we lost in the NBA in-season tournament to the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton shut us down. Well, they're 18-14 right now, but don't be fooled by that record. We've seen the Pacers before. We blew them out one game. The next game, we lost by 12. So, that's going to be a tough game. And then, you're going to look at next week. You got versus the Timberwolves, who are 24-8, and then you got the Bucks. The very next night, the Damian Lillard, Giannis Bucks, who are 24-9. Then you got the Rockets, who are making a better run right now. They had a pretty rough start to the NBA season, but nonetheless, you got Jalen Green who's getting hot. You got Dylan Brooks who's getting hot. One on January 13th. And then you got the Raptors again. Thankfully, they haven't been that tough to beat for the Celtics. Knock on wood, they've won by few, but a win is a win. But they're 13-20 right now, but they're going to have some new players on their court. RJ Barrett, including that. Emmanuel Quickley as well. Emmanuel Quickley, who is a C's killer. So now he's on the Raptors. But here's the thing. This stretch of games, it's going to be testing. It's really going to see where the Celtics are when it comes playoff times. Because I said this last night. Look, I'll take a loss in game 32 of the NBA season. What matters most are the games in May. But a lot of these teams are going to be playing in January. You're going to be playing in May. And you're going to have extensive travel. You're going to have quick turnarounds. Well, guess what, Boston Celtics? You're doing the playoffs as well. You could be playing the Warriors in the finals, a West Coast team, just saying that out loud. You got to travel cross-country on a Tuesday, play on a Wednesday. So this is going to be a great test about their mental strength as well as their physical strength. But I want to know, which January matchup are you most intrigued by? There's a lot of good teams that are going to play. I think the Timberwolves is probably what I'm most intrigued about just because we lost the Timberwolves for our first loss of the season earlier this year. And I want to see how we can just bounce back in one of those games. While I am pretty intrigued by Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers, I've seen good and bad, but I'm excited for the Timberwolves game next week, which we will be live for. We're going to be live for a lot of these January matchups. So go on ahead and comment down below which game you want us to be live for. I'll be sure we are there. Fortunately, Boston's January just keeps going. They got the Spurs. You don't have to worry about them. We beat them before. They do have Wembanyama, but that's about it. Then you got the Nuggets. That right there. January 19th, I will be a nervous wreck that entire day. That is going to be a true test for the Boston Celtics, especially Kristaps Porzingis going up against Jokic. That's what you're going to have to look for. But also Al Horford coming in for him as well. 24 and 11, the Nuggets are at this point when we make this video. Then you got the Rockets, once again, give and take. And you got the Mavericks, great team in the Western Conference right now. Doncic hasn't been playing, Kyrie hasn't been playing, but overall, that'll be a good test. Then you got the Miami Heat, of course, Game 7 final recap. We did beat Game 7 Eastern Conference Finals recap. We did beat the Heat earlier this month, but earlier this season, they can be a different team. They're 19 and 14 right now. They're getting hot. They just beat the Warriors, so it'll be interesting to see. You got the Clippers again. You got the Pelicans with Zion, and then you got the Pacers one more time before the month ends on January 30th. Once again, you're going to play the Pacers 3 times this month. They crushed us in the in-season tournament. That game alone, playing them 3 times to come out with 3 wins against the Indiana Pacers, that'll be tough. It really will be. But here's the thing. Hasn't happened yet. We can talk the entire time about how January is going to be a tough test, how the playoffs are going to be a tough test, but nonetheless, it's January 2nd at this point. I want you guys to go ahead and predict Boston's record over 16 games in January. Let me know what they're going to do, how they're going to win, how they're going to lose, and who they're going to win and who they're going to lose to. Go ahead and type that down below. And nonetheless, hit that sub button for me. We gained numerous subs last night. Welcome into all of those who have joined. We have 22,351 subscribers at this moment. We are making this video, and I want to gain more. So all you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me.